So I tried to make a video of me taking the front housing off. Apparently I forgot to hit record and I was talking and it wasn't getting very far. There's 16 of these uh, bolts that hold the back iron on. Right? I already broke these loose. So you're going to want to go from one spot, count over 8, and then count over 4. All right. Bit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you can go break that one loose, break this one loose. And then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And you're going to count over 8 again, which will bring you over to this one. And then you can go 2. But come over to here. And then do this one. And then go 4 over. And so on and so forth. Keep breaking them loose, keep breaking them loose until they are loose enough. Just go a couple. Just go like that. All right. Then you can go 4. And then 4. And then 2. And then 2. And then 4. And then 8. And then, I don't know, I'm going to go here. And the one next to that one would be this one. That one. Which would lead me to this one. You just keep working them like that. Slowly out. All right, these have been gone through quite a bit. But just like quarter turns, stuff like that, these are ready to come out. But it's not a bad idea because these are going to be different lengths to mark maybe where they went. All right, I'm taking a video, or you can always refer back to this video. This is kind of why I make the videos. It's because I would wind up with so much memory used up. They're all loose. So I'm just going to go around, break them all, just get them all the way out. This will probably be the last video I make until I start doing the rebuild. Because there really isn't much else I can tell you. I mean, break them apart. There's little, lip spots. Where is this one? Where you can kind of separate them, right? Stuff like that. And then you're going to have this bolt here and this bolt here also you got to take out. And then, yeah, it's just everything slides apart. You're going to lose pieces on on your rotors, stuff like that, they're going to fall down in there. Make sure you mark your front and rear rotor. Take a Sharpie, write on it. This first one comes out, go RB for like rear back, and put it right on the face of it. Not the face, but like the side of it, like this upcoming side here. So you know which is which. And yeah, I guess I'll throw that in with this video. I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. And same thing with the other one. Go like front back. FB on when you get this center iron out. Do that. It's kind of the last I'm gonna make of these videos. It's just everything else tearing it apart, finding your pieces, putting it back together. I'll go through. I'll make a step-by-step video. That'll probably be in like a couple weeks. Right, earlier when I said your bolts will be different lengths, they're not. But when you do wind up pulling this iron, and this will happen with all of them, is things might come with it. My coolant ring came with it. My oil ring came with it as well. There was 2 side seals stuck to this, 1 corner seal stuck to it. So, there's things that will stick to it, and I've got a corner seal down in here also. That's pretty normal. So don't be surprised if that happens. Don't be like, oh no, the motor was, screwed because of something. This is still a good iron. There is, a little bit of wear on it. You can see there's wear. Yes, it's ported. I did that the first go around. But then, unlike this back one, you can take a Sharpie or something and go like RB, and then you'll know where the rear one is. And all these corner seals can come out. If you take them out now, you don't have to try to find them later. Apex seals are still in there. I believe the solid sides are here, or up, because it's ported. So I left the solid sides towards the ports, and then the other rotor will be flipped around. Right, so just label that as you're pulling stuff out, and yeah, it's pretty simple. I don't have any. This housing still looks good. That iron, from what I can see, still looks good. There's no huge grooves in it. It's reusable. You'll take this out, and you're gonna have a bunch of stuff that falls also. So I'm gonna use 2 hands for that, so I don't lose a bunch of stuff. Still gonna wind up dropping it all over the place. Then you got to make sure you get your springs yet in there. Those typically stay in. Yeah. Also, if we look down in here, I did a bad job of lining this up last time. So I don't know if you could see it, but I broke the pilot bearing, and she's all down in there. Go me. So we all make mistakes. Honestly, I don't know if that happened now or when I removed the motor, but I'm going to say it happened when I put it in last time. So I could replace that, but I do have an extra E-shaft, so I might just use that. Tearing into the motor, I guess the culprit of why I was leaking coolant was this bad coolant ring. So when I put this motor together the first time, not only did I mess up the alignment on the end in the pilot bearing, but I also did this. I would have never known about the pilot bearing if I wouldn't have had this coolant leak, and it would have failed really quick. But yeah, this coolant ring got smashed in there somehow. Just not being careful enough, I guess, on this top half. And we were sliding this in. You got to go through the E-shaft. You got to kind of adjust some things. I did it by myself. It was my first time building a rotary. and I learned my mistake. Um, it had good compression. It was just getting coolant in to this front cylinder, which I already knew. And as we pulled it apart, pulled the center iron out off of this housing here, and it's verified that the coolant ring did wind up getting pinched in here. So that is one thing. When you're building this, if you're building it by yourself, or if you even have a friend to help double check, maybe your first time, make sure that you're not pinching any of these rings, getting them out of place, and then causing a coolant leak like this. This car sat probably for almost a year before I was able to get back around to it. I admit my flaws in what I did, but overall, with it holding compression, and it let me know that it was leaking coolant on either the intake side or the exhaust side, and it would spin around like this. And I do believe it pinched right up in here, where if I remember right, where that pinch spot was. And yeah, so it was coming in here, and then it would go through, and that caused idling issues. It caused a lot of smoke, but it ran good. It had compression when tested. So other than that, I mean, it looked like the motor, none of the housings are scored up or anything. Um, and I probably ran this motor, let it idle for, I don't know, like 15 minutes the first time. And then I shut it off, started it back up, let it idle. And it would idle really rough after a while, but it didn't start right away. I think it was the second time I started it up, it started idling. Again, this one is ported as well, bridge ported. It's currently off center, so you can't see it. But with the bridge ports again, go through, and if you're gonna bridge port it, only bridge port your outside ones, or do the center iron, whichever one you prefer. But most people bridge port these uh, outside ones, and then what you're gonna do is like I just pulled this piece out. Your little corner piece is gonna go to the inside because you don't want it to fall inside and catch on your bridge port, unless you get the really expensive center irons or the really expensive solid piece apex seals. Um, it's just not worth the price to me. You don't gain that much performance. And then as you go through and pull your rotors apart, you go through and make sure you have all the pieces in here. The last thing you want to do is have pieces left inside the motor when you throw it back together. So you should have 6 corner seals, 6 little plugs that go in there, 6 corner seal springs, and then 6 side seals, 6 springs, and then 3 of um, your long apex springs, 3 short ones, and then 3 apex seals and their little corner pieces per cylinder. So, yeah, make sure you have all your pieces. You don't want to throw this motor back together, and when you separated the motor, that something popped off, fell inside here, and now you've got issues. All of these pieces I'm probably going to wind up reusing, as they've got half hour on them. And um, I'll tear apart one of these rotors and show you how to pack it. I'm not going to do both of them. They're still together. That these center pieces didn't fall apart or anything. So I'm going to do that. I'll show you how to pack your rotors. And when I pull these out, like I'm struggling to get it with my fingers, you just take a little pick in here, and you can pop it out, and you can drop it right inside there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. As you're pulling this motor apart, pieces could fall down inside there. So that was a perfect example. Check your ports, your exhaust ports, check your intake ports. Your first housing, you won't have to worry about it. Your center iron, check it and stuff like that. Check, and if you don't have, 6 of these side seals, side seals, and the springs, 6 of these corner seals, these little plugs, and then your springs. And then if you don't have 3 apex seals, corner of the apex seal, and then 3 of each big and small spring. Go through your motor, make sure you have it, check your floor over. You know, you don't want to lose the stuff down inside the motor. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can look over your bearings in here. You can look over this. There's obviously been a little heat on here, but that was like they want to put it in there the first time. But look over your stuff, make sure it looks good. Check out your rotors, make sure they're in good shape, make sure they're not, like right there I put RB, but it's starting to wear off because it's all full of oil. So make sure you clean it off good. Look for any funny discoloration on something. I guess, and maybe you want to investigate or don't. Like this is slightly discolored versus over here, but that's how it was when I put it in. And we can look at, just look over your stuff. Make sure you don't have deep gouges in here. No deep gouges in your rotor housing. So, yeah, I guess that's about all I got until I start rebuilding this. And I've got to wait for my my coolant seal to come in. The biggest thing I was worried about when I started tearing this apart was when I started doing the bridge port that I went too deep somewhere in my porting, and that I did wind up hitting one of the coolant jackets in here. So when I was doing the porting in here, if I got too deep, I could have hit one of these coolant jackets. I believe it's this one here. It's really, really thin, but I didn't hit it. And so I got a cool Bridgeport rotary that probably runs non-different than stock, from what you can tell. I drove it for a little bit and I didn't notice much of a difference, but I was getting coolant in here, so I was losing a little power. Sounded mean though, sounded real cool, but not like a huge, yeah. So anyways, wait for my ADHD rambling. That's about it.